So let us have Ruchi here on the dais for a quick talk for 10 minutes.
So this is sort of a last minute addition to this segment because I noticed that a lot of people were asking questions about whether it's really worth it to go to the US. And I wanted to share that my journey has been very atypical and non-linear in terms of how I've landed a job in the job market and how I've built a personal brand to stand out compared to a lot of folks in my batch at CMU, my peers in other universities, and even my friends who've moved to the US. And this comes as a surprise to a lot of people when I first say this out loud. I've never applied to a job in a traditional sense and gotten through that entire loop because I didn't have to. When I first landed my job at HP, that was through an internship. And I want to share a little bit about my timelines in terms of how I went about in my data science journey and pivoting to the product space overall. So 2019 is when I had applied for my university applications at CMU and a lot of other universities that I had in my list. My counselor at the time told me that I wasn't going to get into CMU because I didn't have the best GRE score. They always say that you need something beyond 325 to truly stand out. And that really discouraged me at the time because this was my dream university. And since it was the number one for the course that I was applying for, I wanted my application to stand out the most. I had done a lot of internships leading up to that entire process. So that is something that I highlighted heavily in my SOP. And if you ask me today what made the difference, I would say that my SOP is what made me truly stand out at the time because I was able to tell my story in a very unique way, highlighting my projects, talking about things I did in my university to showcase leadership and how I was doing teamwork and all of those different items that are actually required for someone who will be applying for such a program. And that's when COVID hit in 2020. I got my admit on March 10th. It was Holi. And I remember being really happy at the time. 3, 4 days later is when the news of the lockdown had come in, thinking, okay, this is going to go away in 2 weeks. Cut to, no, it wasn't. It was there for about 2 years. And I had to push and defer my admit to the next year. And the program that I had at CMU was a unique one. It was a global program, and that involved me going to Australia for 1 year and then the US for 1 year. So eventually, I would end up in the US, but I would also get to be in Australia for that 1 year and get more global exposure. Funnily enough, Australia was the only country that didn't open their borders when the rest of the world was starting to go back to normal. So I started my program remotely. You would think, did you really pay the fee even though it was remote? I didn't have an option. They did not reduce the fee at all, even though it was a remote program. Although I would say it was one of the most life changing programs of my life in terms of the courses that I had taken. It was an entirely different experience because the way that things work when you are in India and you're studying in your undergrad, those courses are so theory heavy. I won't lie, I have bunked some lectures and just directly given the exams that were there for these subjects in my undergrad. And I can't say the same. I would feel bad if I was late to any of my classes at CMU because the professors were so wonderful in terms of what they were sharing, and everything about it was so interesting. That's when I started my program online in 2021. I was also very active on Kaggle at the time. I had a bunch of other things going on in the meantime. So if you see, I started Kaggle in 2020. For those who don't know, it's a competitive data science platform. This is also around the time HP had reached out to me to be a global brand ambassador for them, which involved me just talking about the projects that I'm building, how am I building those projects, how am I using their hardware to build these projects, things like that. So before I even went to the US, before I even started my program at CMU, I was building my personal brand. This and after that, like this was all on LinkedIn. I didn't have very many followers at the time. I didn't get a lot of likes. For me, I just wanted to document what I'm doing. Had a lot of free time on my hands, wanted to be productive, and just help out maybe 2 or 3 people at the time to who are also in the same boat as me. That ended up actually being one of the coolest things about my career trajectory because I had so many opportunities just rolling in after that, one after the other, because building in public actually really does a lot of eyes, like just landing on your work. You don't realize, but people do see what you post online. It is the best way to reach so many people. I know there is a lot of noise on LinkedIn if you see there are many, many creators today. But I always tell folks that it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, your journey is unique to you. To me, everyone in this room is a creator. Everyone has a very unique story. Not anyone can have the same experiences that you've had. So I'm sure everyone has value to provide, and you can tell your unique story in that sense in terms of the lessons you've learned. What do you think about your providing an opinion on what you're doing and just building your personal brand really along the way? And 2022 is when we had a mandatory internship to do. I reached out to folks at HP to just check if they had a product internship opening, and they did, which to my surprise, again, you don't get PM internships right off the bat that way. And luckily there was an opening. I was proactive. I wanted to touch on this as well during the panel, that it is very important for you to be proactive when you go to the US, because a lot of things, if you just ask for those opportunities, people might just say yes. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? You'll probably hear a no, but then you can ask somebody else if that opportunity is available, and just speak up and communicate and ask for the opportunities and the tables that you want to sit at. And they did have that internship. I completed that, and at the end of it, I did get a full-time offer from HP. So I didn't really have to sit through that entire loop or the pain of applying when other people were actually waiting to see those different applications pop up in their feed and then apply and then go through that entire stressor of the recruiter getting back and things like that. I would say this was all about being proactive and being there at the right place at the right time. And it's something I really highly encourage. I had some quick pointers. I know we have like 10 minutes. I'm going to speed run through this. Already spoke about why you should build a personal brand. Wanted to touch on what personal branding really isn't. You don't have to have a lot of followers, again, to be someone with a personal brand. You can just start talking about things that you think are important to you and might be important to others online. Don't try to be somebody you are not. You should not try to replicate somebody else that you see online. So don't try to be somebody else. You don't have to post every day. You could pick a consistency that really suits your work routine. So maybe just starting off with like one post a week. And if that is something that you can continue and build momentum on, you'll realize that at the end of 3 months, you've done 12 posts. And that is something that you probably, like initially, if you think about it, oh, I want to do 12 posts. And then you're just like, oh my God, I need to do 12 posts. Like, it's something that you can tackle in bits and pieces, one day at a time or 1 week at a time if you're starting out that way. It compounds. It really does compound in terms of the effort that you're putting in. So what personal branding really is all about talking about like clarity in terms of what you understand in terms of your career that you're sharing. Talking about why you are credible, because at the end of the day, when you're applying for these job applications, companies are looking for a certain skill set there. If you don't talk about what you're good at, I know it sounds like people don't want to boast easily, but it's not really boasting. You're just talking to people about what you know, because no one else is going to know otherwise, in terms of, oh, okay, this person is extremely good at web development or really good at just vibe coding a website. So just talk to people and just talk about why you are where you are and what you can bring to the table. And make it easy for people to discover you, because at the end of the day, there are a lot of posts in the world. When you are applying for a very specific job application, many of these job applications require you to provide a link to your LinkedIn, and recruiters do come in and see your profile. If you ever go to your activity tab, you can see who's seen your profile as well. If you have that on, you'll see there are sometimes recruiters just hanging around there as well. The biggest mistake that I have seen people make is I'll work on my personal brand when it comes to applying for a job. And from the story that I shared, one thing that I want you to take away is you shouldn't push it until tomorrow. The earlier you start, the better it is for you, for future you. So don't delay it at all. And if it's possible, maybe start at the end of this event and tag us so we can see what you're working on as well. Okay, skip through this one. In terms of, again, like what I was doing on Kaggle, just a couple of examples of what I was sharing. I was talking about the data sets that I had built on LinkedIn, what are the notebooks that I was working on, competitions I was taking part in. So it doesn't have to be like a full-fledged thing as well. Just it could be even like a work in progress update that you're sharing on LinkedIn, that, hey, this is a school project I'm working on. If you want people to partner with you, you can even find folks to work on those projects with you, and maybe even reach out to a university professor and get some more visibility on that so that you can add more to your story when you have to tell it one day. One cool thing that I did in 2021, again, I don't know if this has to be with how online I am, but I was consistent for 365 days on Kaggle, and that was one of the cooler milestones that year in terms of, again, all the competitions and cool things I was working on. So my visibility came from the consistency as well. If you see, there are a lot of cool trends you'll see on Instagram where people are just documenting their journey, maybe their fitness journey. I've seen this more common in the fitness world, day one of trying to get fit or whatever. And those pick up a lot. So if you're in tech and you're trying to do like those lead code problems, 100-day challenge or something, and just sharing what you're learning every day, that could be something, some challenge that you can try out and post about as well. I did get a lot of cool opportunities through just posting online. Google had reached out to me to share my journey in terms of like becoming a Kaggle Grandmaster as well, which initially when they first reached out, I thought it was a spam email. So I was pretty early on in my career, and it was really it was very exciting for me to share the stage with some of the people that I really looked up to at the time, and they were other Kaggle Grandmasters as well. Like I said, it all compounds. If you're putting in 1% every day, it will compound and you won't even realize what you've built over time. So really put in like those tiny efforts every day and watch it grow. Yeah, in terms of why your story matters in tech, you are really competing with a pool of applicants. If you are a new grad, everyone has the same profile really. You've done a bunch of internships, you have a great GPA, or you have a good GRE score. GRE scores don't matter in a job application, but everyone has that initial similar background. You might take a bunch of courses, but what really sets you apart are the projects that you're building. So really focus on the courses that you're taking. Make sure you get an opportunity to even TA or do an RA position so that you have those strong projects that you've built on or during a semester. And what makes you memorable really are the critical turning points in your journey. What made you switch, or why are you pursuing a specific part of your journey? Maybe why are you keen on working in AI in healthcare or something, and have projects that you can tie in to just tell that story. Your voice is important. I've been talking about this for a really long time. Keep highlighting your aspect and your opinion when you're telling a story. All right, I'm going to speed run through this one, but essentially another thing, before you come to the US, A lot of people don't do this. Networking comes pretty hot and heavy when you go to your university. There will be a lot of opportunities for you to speak to alumni, to the job fairs actually happen very quickly. Like if you are landing, in my case, it happened in the first month, and I didn't even know what a job fair was at the time. Keep your elevator pitch ready, and typically just follow like the past, present, and future framework, and like just work on polishing that. I'll find a way to share these slides with everyone, so don't worry about it if like, I'm not covering everything right now. Turn your projects into brand assets. If you have worked on something that you think is innovative, you can find ways to share it in the social world depending on your area of comfort, really. If you're comfortable making videos, like some people, you can make videos about what your project does, why is it important, what problem is it solving, and where it can go tomorrow. If you're shy, maybe just start by writing out a blog or just writing a text-based post on LinkedIn, and eventually you can start working towards getting outside of your comfort zone and doing what you plan on doing one day. In terms of, okay, yeah, this is something you can read through. Right. LinkedIn really does play a role. Like I already said, the recruiters will come and linger around your profile. So there are some tips here that will help you polish your LinkedIn before you get to the US. All right, yeah, this is something you can work on as a good after workshop thing today. So I've again included a lot of tips in terms of how you can, what type of posts you can do, what can be your consistency, like project examples that you can work through on your own time later today. And some interview questions in there as well. More networking resources. If you want to already start reaching out to maybe folks who are alums or even people that you think would be great to reach out to, there are some cold email outreach templates as well in this. Definitely read through these networking questions when it comes to those job fairs that I was talking about. And don't forget to follow up with people. That is, again, an important piece of the proactive approach that I was mentioning. A lot of people, they have great conversations, but they don't really follow up. So that could be, again, another way for you to reach out and make sure you're building that entire connection. Okay. Right, I guess the rest of it is just more and more of the personal branding piece. We do have the networking opportunity later as well for all the different guest speakers to answer questions. I think we're at time right now, so I'm gonna cut it short. But it was really nice being here. I wasn't planning on being in the city. It was a last-minute addition, so I really appreciate the team accommodating me as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.